Recently, I traveled to Japan for 2 weeks to visit Kyushu, and while I was in Fukuoka, I went to Yodobashi Camera to pick up some earphones, which you can see in front of you here. In this video, I'm going to talk about my earphone safari experience in Yodobashi Camera and unbox the Sony MDR-EX1000. I'm also going to unbox the Onkyo E900M and the Danu DK3001 in future videos, both of which I also picked up from Yodobashi Camera, so stay tuned. Now before I actually unbox the Sony MDR-EX1000, I just want to talk about my shopping experience first in Yodobashi Camera. So in Japan, there are two big chain department stores that sell electronics. The first one is called Big Camera, and the other one is called Yodobashi Camera. Well, camera is basically the Japan's way of saying camera. The good thing about being foreign visitors when you visit these department stores is that you actually enjoy an 8% discount when you purchase these products that can enjoy the tax-free discount. So that's very awesome. And on top of that, if you have an Union Pay credit card and you use it to pay for your purchase, you can enjoy a further 5% discount. So, shopping in these department stores is very awesome, but not all stores enjoy this kind of discount. So, do keep that in mind. Now, Big Camera and Yodobashi, they both sell a bunch of different electronics, such as cameras, lenses, tripods, actual speakers, mobile phones, computers, I believe, like just all sorts of things. I think even CDs and other recording equipments, different kinds of electronics. So, but when I went to Yodobashi, I wasn't interested in all those things. I was only interested in picking up the earphones. Now, when you get there, you see a lot of different counters, and of course there will be a lot of different earphones for you to try out, and maybe audio players, mobile portable audio players. But I was not interested in the cheap earphones, which the counters, which were what the counters were for. They were there to show off, or I guess to give you a chance to demo the cheaper earphones. But I wasn't interested in those earphones. I was more interested in the medium tier to the high tier earphones. And you will find those in glass cupboards, locked using keys, of course. So, of course, if you want to try out those earphones, you will have to tell the staffs that, hey, I want to try out this model, that model, whatever. And of course, when you, even if you're very good at English, it doesn't really matter in Japan because, hey, they don't speak English, they speak Japanese. But you can actually communicate using very simple vocabulary, such as listen, try, whatever. So I talked to the staff and I told them, hey, I want to try out like 5 or 6 different earphones, and they would just go to the glass cupboard and take them out, and you would be guided to a demonstrating table so that you can enjoy a listen. And of course, when you want to try out a specific model, don't be afraid to tell the staff. Like they'll be very polite and they'll be patient. You can just try out the earphones for however much time you want. So that's it for my safari experience sharing, I guess. I'm just going to put away the Onkyo E900M and the Danu DK3001 away for now, because in this video I want to unbox the Sony MDR-EX1000. Now, unfortunately, I actually already opened this up and listened to the earphones for like a little bit more than 1 week, because basically what happened was I went to Kyushu, and Fukuoka was the first place I went to, and I basically picked up these earphones right at the start of the trip, and they've been sitting in my baggage for like 2 weeks. And I just want to try out something. Like I want to listen to one of these new products that I've never really thoroughly enjoyed or heard of. So I couldn't wait, and I opened up the MDR-EX1000. So as you can see, the box is very sleek. It's got this like brush finish to it, but really this is just a paper box all around. It got very scratched up during the 2 weeks it spent in my baggage, which was unfortunate. But anyway, you can see the Sony logo right here. And very interestingly, they actually call this the stereo ear receiver. I mean, I've never heard of anyone describing earphones as ear receiver. If anything, the ears should be the ones doing the receiving, but whatever. And of course, the model is MDR-EX1000. I believe this is actually called a different name in other regions, but I'm not sure. So looking around the box, no other text, just the same finish. But on the back, you see a huge chunk of Japanese descriptions, and I don't read Japanese, so let me just try to like guess what they're trying to say. So firstly, these earphones are packing a gigantic 16mm dynamic driver, which is of course actually very big for earphones. Usually you will find like 10mm, 8mm, 9mm, or even 13. But these are packing 16mm dynamic driver, so that is just gigantic. It says these dynamic drivers are special. They are made of like liquid crystalline, something like that. And on the third line, it says the body is made of magnesium alloy. The earphone also comes with 2 cables, both of which are rated at a 7N. N stands for 9, basically. So, and both of these cables are oxygen-free copper cable. And basically, what the 9 is telling you is that, hey, the purity, or I guess the copper content in this cable is 99.99999%. So very pure. Whether that actually makes a difference really depends on what you think about audio cable. I personally don't find a huge difference between different cables, but sometimes I do feel a difference. But anyway, needless to say, they're using a very high quality cable, so you don't have to worry about that. And of course, they actually came in 2 different lengths. One is in, let me see, 1.2 meters, and the other one is in 0.6 meter. So I'm not sure why they have to include 2 cables, but I appreciate it. I would imagine the shorter one would sound the best, physically wise or mathematically speaking. But again, whether a cable actually makes a difference to earphones really is just it's just really hard to tell, you know, because placebo is a thing and measurements it's just really difficult to do. And most of the time when people do measurements, they don't find a difference. So there you go. The earphone also come with a, I guess, like a leather case. If you're interested in the technical specs of the earphones themselves, you can see it is using a closed back design. The driver itself is 16 millimeters in diameter. Maximum output is 200 milliwatts. The impedance on the earphone is 32 ohms. These earphones are not necessarily sensitive. They are only rated at 108 decibel per milliwatt, but that should still be a pretty good sensitivity for normal usage. Audio frequency is rated from 3 Hz to 30,000 Hz. And of course, other than the description, you'll find the pictures for the accessories. You have one of the cable, you have the Sony hybrid ear tips, and the foam hybrid ear tips. They aren't actually called hybrid ear tips, but they're just called noise or sound isolating ear tips, I believe. That's the carrying case, and of course, the earphones themselves. So, okay, let's re-unbox this earphone. The box opens up like this. Very interesting design. Oh, and it just came off. Okay. Alright. A black piece of plastic that says Nude EX monitor. I don't know what that means. But cool, I guess. And here you have the earphones themselves. But I'm not going to look at the earphones yet. Well, just yet. I'm going to look at the ear tips first. So here are all the ear tips. In many different sizes, of course. Comes with a black piece of plastic that keeps the earphone, the ear tips in place. So on the left, you'll find the hybrid ear tips in different sizes, from super small to extra large. And this piece of paper actually says, it's trying to say, hey, you're using these ear tips on the earphones themselves right now, so that's why they aren't here. On the right, you will find the noise isolation ear tips, which actually contains foams within the ear tip, which is different from the hybrid ear tips. And then we have the earphones themselves. Unfortunately, the EX1000 is already cut scratched, which is of course unfortunate, but I don't know how that happened. Flip this open and you will find the rest of the earphone or the cable. And you have things like warranty and stuff inside of this box. So let me just, of course, take the EX1000 out. So here is the earphone itself. Of course, very strange shape. People have always been complaining, or I guess commenting on how the EX1000 looks like. Well, they look very strange to say the least. If you put these in, you basically look like Frankenstein, or you look like you have two USB drives sticking out of your ears. They're labeled, so this one is the right earpiece, and the other one is, of course, the left earpiece. On the casing itself, you will find the EX1000, the model. The cables is interchangeable, of course, and they're actually locked in using some kind of screw. And you can twist it to unlock or change out the cable. And this connection is not like 2-pin or MMCX, it's like Sony's own proprietary connection. That's the Y split, and that's the rest of the cable. And the earphone comes connected with the 1.2 meter cable, which is of course a good length. That's the audio jack, which the camera is having trouble focusing on. It is right angled, which is my preferred style, and it says Sony on it. And for whatever reason, the plastic, not the plastic rings, but the rings on the connector is in green. The first time I tried out the EX1000, I looked at the connector and I saw it was not black, it's green. So I was like, oh, these earphones must have been sitting in the glass cupboard for a very long time, but I guess they just came in green. That's it for the earphone. Next we have a carrying case. So here's the case. I've been basically, after I unboxed the EX1000 initially, I put this case in my travel bag for like 2 weeks, and it actually didn't get scratched up at all. I think, well, it's got like this very tiny scratch mark, but I'm sure I can just wipe it off. Pretty nice texture. Open it up and you will find the place where you will insert your earphones and the place where you will wrap the cable around. I actually found this piece to be like very difficult to use, especially when you're on the road. Like every time you try to, I mean, of course, taking out the earphone would be easy, but when you try to put the earphones back in, it's a real chore. So I just take this piece out and use this carrying case as is and just put the earphone inside. It's just a lot easier. And then inside you see MDR-EX1000. And finally, we have the 0.6 meter 7N cable. And this is what the connector looks like. It is definitely not MMCX or 2-pin. So if you want to find replacement cable for your EX1000 or Sony earphones in general, do keep this in mind. Another piece of paper. Warranty. Okay. Let's not read that because that will be boring. And there's nothing else in the packaging. So that's it for this video. In the next video, I'm going to unbox the Onkyo E900M, and hopefully that video will be shorter because I'm not going to talk about my Safari experience once again. I'm just going to unbox the earphones themselves. I'm also going to do a review on the EX1000 after I'm done unboxing these earphones. So definitely stay tuned, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video.